So picking up where we left off, I was going to say if you got 18 right by picking the answer of April 15th, 2019, which is correct, and Scantron marked it wrong, so you can draw a smiley face for yourself. Did a good job. Okay, now we come to 19, and 19 says we got a 6-year statute because it's 30% under reporting of gross income. So we're going to have to do 6 years this time, following May 15, 2016, six years from there. So do the same trick I did before. I know it looks a little weird, but it's what I do in order to make sure. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 2022 is it. Would be May 15th, 2016. And since the answer is not there, it should be none of these. The Scantron marked it, this one being right. So if you got this, none of these, then draw yourself another smiley face, for that's the reason for the curve, because you got it right. Number 19 should have been none of these, but it was marked wrong. So you got it right. Good. Number 20. What do you want me to do? I curved it. Okay. Okay, number 20. Now we have a fraudulent return. Oops, that's really trouble. So how does that work? Well, that's easy. That never ends, so it's no dates. It never ends, none of those. Number 21, he never filed. When does the statute expire for him? Again, same concept. If you don't file, that the clock does not start running. Here's the clock, and the hour hand and the minute hand are sitting there. It doesn't begin to run. All right, you get the idea. Until you file, so it'll be none of these. Which of the following audits is most common and typically by mail? That's what that means, by mail. Get a letter. IRS will only do letters if it's one thing or simple thing or an easy thing. Saves them money, saves you time. Just get a quick answer from you by mail. This is the court that has the trial by jury. Number 23 is C. And I don't consider this to be a real important question, but this is put on there to help reward people who really went through the test banks and the textbook in an excellent way. So those people should get rewarded as well. This one's an important one. I do consider important, and not all of these are primary authorities. They're all from the government. Anything from the government is considered a private primary authority. So the answer to 24 was also none of these. All right. As far as secondary authorities, again, if I said that government publications are primary, everything else is not. So this is not a secondary. It's true that it comes from the government, and it's also true, I said in class, that you cannot rely on it. Meaning, if it says something wrong, the IRS will say, "Well, we made a mistake. That doesn't mean you're right." If the public, but you will get out of a penalty. So you can't rely on it, but you can get relief from penalty. That's an automatic. If you can show the IRS, even though you apply the tax law, incorrectly, if you can show them that it was in an IRS publication, because that's a primary authority, you will get relief from the penalty automatically. That's what I want to say. So that's why it has primary authority concept to it. Now this one's really important, and I mean it. We spoke about it in class. It's in the test bank. It's in the book, and the answer is yes. There is this doctrine. This doctrine in Latin is known as stare, and I'm giving you this for two reasons. Stare decisis. That's the Latin for this doctrine. Two reasons to give it to you. One, it'll help you remember it. And two, you can shine at this week's parties. It will be unbelievable. Take this home. Mention what you learned in class to your folks or your family or your best friend. People will be in awe. I mean it. They'll just be, they won't believe it. Okay, number 27. This is the concept of stare decisis, and it goes like this. As an example of the concept, that's what this is, an example of the concept. In the circuit court system, there are like 9 different circuits. I think it's 9 circuits. And if you have a case in where you live, they have to follow the rule of stare decisis. So the answer to this question is you want the favorable ruling to be in your circuit. If it's in another circuit, like the Fourth Circuit where Maryland is, then it's good, but it's not as good. It's better if it's in your circuit because then they have to follow stare decisis. Wow. Take that to your friends. It's unbelievable. Okay, 28, which is not a source of a tax practitioner's professional responsibilities. Well, all of these are, so the answer is E. Circular 230 was put out by the IRS. Which of the following is a false statement? Taxpayer filing a fraudulent return is potentially subject to a prison sentence. End of the multiple choice questions. Hold on, we're going to do the other questions, so hold on. Okay, let's see, are they on here? Yes, there they are. Okay, so upon doing tax research, you read the code, that's good, and the Treasury regulations. What if you think the regs are wrong? How might you prove it? I spoke about it in class, and the best way, there may be some peripheral ways, so I gave partial credit if you answered the question decently with some peripheral concepts, but the most direct way is to show that the regs are wrong because of the language in the committee reports. In the committee reports, that's what Congress relied on to pass the law, and if the committee report says this is what the law is supposed to do, this is what the law is supposed to be, that's your best bet to fighting the regs. Tough fight, as I told you in class. I gave you the story that twice in my career I was able to show the IRS that the regs were wrong. It's not something that's going to happen more than maybe even once in a career, let alone twice. So it's just a real unusual, but that's how you would do it. You got to go to the committee reports. If you have any further question about this, look up committee reports a little bit in the textbook, look it up a little bit more, and then still see me if you have any questions, because I'd be happy to expose you and share with you what I taught in class on this one more time. Okay, what is the power of using marginal tax rate in planning? Meaning, why do we put so much emphasis? And it's the most correct and directly correct answer was just to say that it helps us understand the tax result for an increase in taxable income. That was if you had said that, you got the whole thing right. That's generally the idea. It just helps us quickly, is the way to describe it, to quickly get, I give up. Let me do it again. Quickly derive the tax result, or quickly compute tax result when there's an increase or decrease. That would be fair to say, or decrease in taxable income. You could have said it in different language, and if it long as it means the same thing. You got it right, and you got it that you're at the end of this video. Thanks.